All right, let's talk about something pretty much every single one of us has dealt with, headaches. You know, whether it's that dull, annoying throb or a sharp, splitting pain, we've all been there. But have you ever really stopped to think about what a headache is? Like what's actually happening in there? Well, today we're going to decode it.
So, yeah, we all get them. But what is a headache, really? It sounds like such a simple question, doesn't it? But the answer, well, it's actually way more organized than you might think. See, the medical world doesn't just lump them all together. They have a really clear system for this stuff. And once you get that system, it's like having a key to understanding what's going on with your own body.
And here it is. This is the big picture right here. It all boils down to two main types of headaches. Take a look. The huge slice of the pie, we're talking 90 to 95% of all headaches, falls into a category called primary. Then you've got this tiny little sliver, just 5 to 10%, called secondary. Honestly, if you only remember one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this distinction. It's that important.
Okay, so what's the big difference? Well, it's actually pretty simple. For those primary headaches, the 90–95% of them, the headache is the main problem. It's the whole show. It's not fun, but it's not a sign of something else dangerous going on. Now, secondary headaches, they're totally different. The headache isn't the problem itself, it's a symptom. Think of it like an alarm bell going off in your body telling you to check for another issue.
All right, let's dive into the first big category, primary headaches, the main event. And honestly, this is the one that most of us are going to be familiar with.
So just to be super clear, with a primary headache, the headache is the condition. It's not a warning sign, it's not a symptom of some other scary disease, it's the thing itself that needs to be managed. It just is.
And you'll definitely recognize some of these names. You've got your classic tension headache, the one that feels like a tight band around your head. Yeah, that's a primary. Migraines, that's another big one, and they're a whole different level of complex. Then you have some less common but really intense ones, like cluster headaches. The point is, they're all different experiences, but they all live under this primary umbrella.
Okay, now let's flip over to that other, much smaller category, secondary headaches, the symptom. And remember, we're talking about that little 5 to 10% slice of the pie, so these are way, way less common.
And the best way to think about this is like a check engine light in your car. I mean, it's the perfect analogy, right? When that light pops on, you don't try to fix the light bulb. The light isn't the problem, it's just a signal telling you something else is wrong under the hood. A secondary headache is exactly the same. The pain is your body's way of saying, hey, pay attention, there's something else going on here.
So what kind of things could that check engine light be pointing to? Well, a really common cause is some kind of infection. But other things, and again, remember how rare this category is, could include head trauma, a brain bleed, or even be induced by a medication. And this, right here, is exactly why doctors are so careful when someone comes in with a bleed or even be induced by a medication. And this, right here, is exactly why doctors are so careful when someone comes in with a new or really severe headache. They need to rule this stuff out just in case.
Okay, so we've got primary and we've got secondary. But why does any of this matter? Like, what's the big takeaway for you? Let's talk about it.
And this is probably the most important part. Knowing this difference isn't about trying to self-diagnose on the internet. Please don't do that. It's about having a better framework for understanding your own body. It's about being able to have a more intelligent conversation with your doctor. It helps you separate what's common and usually manageable from what's rare and needs a closer look.